So I was asking Chad the other day, like, okay, so how would you deal with negative emotions? And he said, well, don't let it bother you. And as a woman, that's really hard for me, obviously. And he kind of laughed because he knew that my response would be, well, that's kind of hard, like to not let it bother you. But even Chad said that, he admitted that, it was still, even for men, it's still very hard to deal with some of the things that we go through in a week's time. So emotional intelligence is super critical with our job. I was reading through this book, and I'm just going to kind of paraphrase a few things. But it said that the way that we handle our emotional intelligence will actually dictate our success more than our IQ. So they were doing a study of different people within an organization, different businesses, and they tested the like an employee's emotional intelligence versus a managers versus the CEOs. And it's interesting because in a traditional business, the CEO had the least amount of emotional intelligence. He had the highest amount of he had the highest IQ. But with network marketing, it's people who have the most emotional intelligence are the people who will go to the top, because you know how to deal better with people, and you know how to control your own emotions, and also help others, help other people on your team control theirs as well. So I'm going to give you guys just a few practical tips, because I think so many times, like whether it's we're messaging people, or maybe we've like me, okay, I've been in the car for 8 hours, part of that with screaming babies, so my emotions are definitely at their wits' end today. So talking about, whenever we are going through our day, or whatever struggles that we're going through that day, we all have to be able to kind of reel it in and be professional when we're talking over Messenger, or whether we're talking with a friend about Plexus. So here's a few tips that I have gathered for a little bit from the book, and then just some of the things that I just kind of thought to jot down. First of all, expect that you will have a negative emotion. When I first started out with Plexus, I was so excited. I got the vision. I got what the products did. I could tell you every ingredient and what it did. And I thought, oh my goodness, like everybody else is going to be just as excited if I tell them this. Like they're going to be so excited, and they're all going to want to join me right now. And it took me about a week, and I realized that wasn't the case. Like I realized that it was going to, it's going to take some time and some work. This wasn't just going to be like, hey friends, you should do this with me because I believe in this 100%, right? And sometimes that kind of hurts. Like sometimes it's like, wait, I'm totally in, I'm totally ready, and you don't trust me that this would be great for you. So many times, like, we internalize that emotion. But just remember to expect to have a negative emotion. The other thing is, being emotionally intelligent means that you are able to identify an emotion very well. So know that you are human. Know that it's okay. What you need to do in that moment, instead of pushing it away, is say, okay, I feel angry, or I feel frustrated, or I feel hurt maybe, or I'm just shocked. Like I can't believe that they said that, or they didn't respond in the way that I wanted them to. So first, acknowledge your own feelings so that can kind of help your body calm down. The other thing is breathe, okay? Like, you guys, I will tell you this. I'll give you a really personal experience. I think I had the hardest skeptic like of my entire plexus business the other day. Like I had to ask for help in the leaders thread because I was just like, I don't know how to deal with this person. Like I was just stunned. And she's got a master's in dietetics. So I thought, wow, I mean, she would be amazing for this. Did not, even though I responded with very good emotional intelligence, I believe, she did not respond well back to me. And so I had to take a moment. I took about 10 minutes to just kind of collect myself, okay? And that's okay. Like, take some time to collect yourself so that you can respond in an appropriate way. You do not have to respond that moment. I think when I first started out, I really felt like I had to get back to them that second. And if I had already had a bad day and somebody, said something bad about plexus, it almost felt like an attack on me. You know what I mean? Even though they may love you to death, but if they say something negative about your supplements that you love so much that have changed your health, you really take it personal and you're like, oh, like, I can't believe you don't believe me. But let's be honest, we've all been there. We've all been skeptical, okay? We've all said things possibly even about plexus or the people that sell plexus. So let's just remember to, like, take a moment, take a breath, try to put ourselves in their shoes for a minute. Maybe they've had a really bad day and their kids have been pulling at them and crying, and their husband's in a bad mood and they had to clean the house, and who knows what happened to them, and you just hit them in a really bad day. Just assume that they just don't feel like talking about plexus that minute, and so let's make it a joy for them. So when you respond to a message, just remember, you can take a few moments, breathe, think through the process. Other thing, when you posture yourself, I think Summer talked about posturing ourselves. Posturing, for those of you who are new, means expecting a good outcome. Like, if you yourself are anticipating this negative outcome, then most likely the words that come out of your mouth are going to lead you down a negative outcome. If you posture yourself in a good way, you go back, remember to go back to your truth. Like Michelle, lupus for 20 plus years, you got on plexus, you're medication free. That's your truth. Nobody can take that from you, okay? So you should feel confident in, like, hey, truth. So I'm just going to give them some time to come to that realization for themselves. So remember that when we posture ourselves with a good, positive emotion, that, what, this person is not, maybe they're not understanding exactly what they need to understand right now, or maybe they're not where I'm at, but I'm going to meet them where they're at, and I'm going to ask them questions and get them to think about, the things that they just said to me. So maybe they're like, well, I'm not a big believer in supplements. Maybe they say something like that. Maybe you can go back to, well, what health issues, are you currently, struggling with, or are you struggling with anything? Have you been trying to improve on anything lately? Just kind of go back to the conversation and go back to that relationship and build rapport with them first. You don't have to sit there and have an argument with them over whether or not supplementation is good for them or not. Okay. You don't have to worry about that. Go back to the relationship. The other thing is set boundaries. I think so many times with ourselves, we internalize an emotion. If we're talking to somebody and maybe the conversation did not, even if you posture posture yourself well. Maybe the conversation did not turn out the way you wanted it to, meaning that they got that this could help with their diabetes or their autoimmune disorder or whatever it is. Maybe they're not where you're at the end of that conversation. I think so many times we like hold on to those emotions, and that affects the way we talk to the next person, or that affects, maybe your personal life or your day. So I just want to encourage you guys to remember to not internalize those emotions. Just like kind of take it as like somebody's handing you something. You can look at it and say, okay, is this truth? If it's not truth, then put it away and keep moving. Okay. If it is a truth, then identify what it is and handle that. Okay. That goes back to self-awareness and being able to identify those things. But I think when I first started out, I'm a very highly sensitive person, and I just had a baby too. So after having children, you're just even more emotional. But I think I absorbed a lot of emotions that I really should not have absorbed. I really should have just said, okay, that's where they're at right now. My truth still holds. I still don't go every day. I still go every day without migraines. So I just need to move on and find somebody that really would like to get relief and who I can help. Remember that everybody is going through something, okay? Everybody is struggling with something. So so many times when we are having a rough day, or we've gone through, a really traumatic experience, we expect others to be, maybe sympathetic or understanding of that, or maybe we expect everybody to be polite. But I want to encourage you to remember, when we're talking with people, you don't know what's going on in their lives. Maybe you hit them at a bad day. So always add value. Add value to them. Build them up as a person, because people will buy from you not based on the product, or it's not really about the products. It's about you. It's about their relationship with you. They trust you. They like you. They value what you value. And so just remember to always add value to people. There's 4 things that in the next call I'm going to go over. So I'm going to cut this short because I know, again, we've got a lot going on this week. But the book that I'm reading is talking about self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. And it said those 4 categories are something that every single person that has ever succeeded has worked at, is those 4 things. And it said also that if you work at just one, you don't have to focus on all 4, because the human brain can actually only focus on improving one of those at a time very well. But it said if you focus on self-awareness, which is basically just being aware of your own emotions, your own, maybe your own strengths, your own weaknesses. If you can focus on one of those things, that you will see success occurring faster in your life. If we just stay where we're at, and if we don't look inward and we don't change, then you may reach your goals. You may get to a certain goal, but you're going to hit a plateau eventually. I know that personally, after I hit senior gold this year, I hit a big plateau, because I had to start working on myself. I had to start looking at inward and saying, okay, what do I need to work at? And so I have spent the last 6 months really trying to pour into myself and into learning more, so that I can so that I can build you guys up, so that I know how to help you with your journey. So I'm really excited because we're going to kind of go over self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management after the holidays are over. And I'm going to give you some really specific tips on how to improve those things. So if you want to bring some pen and paper next meeting, you can kind of get a freebie read. Like I'm reading the book for you, and so you don't have to even take the time. If you want to take the time to read it, that's fine. But I'm kind of giving you guys a freebie read and just giving you some quick information so that you can incorporate it into your life. But I definitely encourage everybody to find some book to read, maybe over the holidays or, right after the holidays, so that you can start the new year feeling like, you're improving. I wanted to ask, just for a few moments, what are some things what is one thing that you feel like you have improved on maybe this past month? Like something that you look at your last month and you're like, I'm handling this a lot better. And that can be related to emotional intelligence or something not related to that. Donna, I'm going to go with you first.
Okay. So I have improved on reaching out, because I just kind of went through this phase where I kind of choked up, and I just hate that fear of rejection. And so I think what did it was 2 of my good friends that I have on Facebook that I've wanted to approach for such a long time about these products because I know they need them, signed up with somebody else after I messaged them. I was so mad at myself. And I thought, I've got to quit being so afraid. So I've just decided I'm not going to be afraid anymore. And I'm just reaching out to everybody. And I haven't been keeping up on our little team page posts, but I've been reaching out every day. I've been messaging 25 people every day.
Wow, Donna, that's awesome.
Yeah,
way to go.
It's better, yes. And I my little game that I played on Facebook the other day, the Jingle Jingle Bells one, got lots and lots of response from that one. That one's going to give me a lot of people, I think, at least 4 or 5. So to me, that's a lot. At least 4 or 5 will become ambassadors, maybe customers, but that'll be good. That'll be a good start.
Way to go, Donna. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. Okay, Michelle, you're the next on my screen.
Okay. I think I'm overcoming that fear of, like, the cold messaging when you send it out and either you immediately get a response from them or the response that you get is not, the one you want to hear. Just overcoming that. It's okay. Just press on. Like you said, I usually have to take a breath and try to think of what is the best way to handle, if it's somebody that's skeptical or someone that's just flat out said, no, I work with another company. Don't bother me. But I'm getting over that fear and not taking it so personal.
That's great. I'm really proud of you, Michelle. That's awesome. Okay, Summer. You're muted.
That's so funny. I muted everybody, but for some reason mine was still muted. Okay. I think for me, I have always my comfort zone has always been through social media, doing my business. And the face-to-face has always been hard for me because I don't want it. I almost feel like when I do it face-to-face, it feels more salesy. It doesn't come as naturally, whereas I have time to think when I'm behind the computer, and it feels more natural because I'm not as, scattered for words. So I think a new improvement for me is the last 3 to 6 months, I've been pushing myself to approach people, whether I know them or even strangers, and sharing the opportunity. And so I've worked on my verbiage, and I actually just shared with a coworker yesterday, which is very outside my comfort zone. I've only been at my new job a month, and she has diabetes. And I was like, okay, you know, I just built that relationship, and we were having a conversation, and it just naturally came up. And so it's one of those things, like for me, doing the face-to-face sharing is becoming something I'm doing more and more, and stepping outside my comfort zone. So that's kind of an area of improvement that I'm seeing it becoming more natural and not as like unnatural, at least in how I feel. Because before I felt very nervous and kind of got panicky. Maybe didn't come across that way, but it's how I internally felt. So it's encouraging to see that flowing more naturally, like my Facebook interactions. So
That's great. That's awesome. And I think, like, would you say that's more because you tend to be introverted? Do you feel it that way?
yeah, because my personality naturally is not, even if it's something I strongly believe in, I get really nervous bringing it up because I don't know what their response is going to be. And I don't want them to, it's always that feeling of like, they might think I'm being pushy, or that like they may take it wrong, or think I'm trying to sell them something. So I think fears that don't come up and arise in me over the internet when I'm messaging people, they do when it's face to face. Because I want to make, for some reason, the face to face is harder for me. And I know some people, it's one way or the other, you know. So
Because I'm opposite of that.
yeah,
But that should tell you we all have our fears, and we all have our
yeah, and
things that we're uncomfortable with.
yeah. But I will say, every time I've pushed myself outside my comfort zone, I get better the next time. And then the next time I talk to somebody, I get that much more comfortable and more natural about it. And so, no matter what your comfort zone is, whether it's the videos or the in-person or the cold messaging, it's like, don't be afraid to push yourself, because you will grow. The more you do it, the better you get. So
Yes. Thanks, Summer.
yeah, of course.
Okay, Tammy, you're next.
I would say talking to people in person. When I come across somebody I know and we're talking and they ask how I've been or how I'm doing, so I'm doing a lot better now. And I bring up, well, I found a new product and I really like it, and I start telling them about it. And so I would say it would be that, because that wouldn't be something I would normally do.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Way to go, Tammy. And Tammy, are you almost silver now?
Close.
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
Almost. We got to get you there this month.
I know, I'm trying.
Well, you're going to do it. Good job.
Mhm.
Okay, Adria, you're next. I know. Okay, first of all, Adria, you guys, welcome Adria, because she's new.
I think
Welcome.
go.
So, okay, maybe a better question for you, Adria, is what is something that you would like to improve on, I guess, like that you are aware of that you would like to improve on?
I feel like as far as starting out with Plexus, I feel like every area is a room for improvement. Just I'm so new.
Yes. She signed up last week, you guys. So woohoo, because how long have we been talking about Plexus, Adria? We've been talking at least several months, I know.
I mean, probably one of our first play dates at my house after you had moved. So
Yes.
a year ago.
Yeah.
But I think my biggest thing that I know I need to overcome is just that. I mean, I've been to several different places and even participated, like you said, in the negative talk about the Plexus posts, when that's all you see in your news feed and you're like, I don't know why these people are posting about this. And so overcoming that perspective, I don't want to be that person in anybody's news feed, really.
Gotcha. So like overcoming that fear of what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think we've all been there. Like we've definitely all been there, like sweaty palms, like nervous to post or nervous to message.
I did finally send my first contact message to people I haven't talked to, and it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. I didn't get any yeses, but
yeah. But that's good. Like you got some conversation going, and And so following up with them will
They'll
be
to get probiotics from their friend that they're already talking to.
well, they're going to get them from somebody. It's like Donna said, if you don't reach out to them first, they're going to sign up with somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really just a matter of like when it clicks with them, when it's the right timing. Okay, the last one. Thank you, Adria, by the way. Thank you. Miss Ute, you're the last one on my list.
Well, it's really funny that everybody is saying that they have a hard time with the face-to-face. And to me, it's a technology that's hard. I just as soon have a face-to-face conversation with somebody than to do the messaging and to not see their expression and to not be able to see where they're at. So I miss the face-to-face. So that's where I'm at. Technology is something that's really hard for me, that I'm struggling with.
Okay.
So that's where I need improvement. But one of the things that I have been improving lately is pacing myself. Before, I had a really hard time with the questions and making it a conversation. I'm kind of like, if the door was open, I was, puking plexus. So, and it just kind of happened. I couldn't, but I'm getting better at controlling myself and asking the questions and getting more information before I give them the information. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's perfect. Yeah, like always finding another question until they come to the conclusion for themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. And that is hard. Like, we have all done it. I know when I first started out, I puked plexus all over everybody. So
Yes.
yes.
And even after I knew not to do that, it still happened.
Yeah.
So
well, I think we can all raise our hand and say we've done that before. Like self-admitting. But so definitely, like I think acknowledging that emotion again, like, okay, I feel really bad that I did that, but I'm going to do better next time. And like,
yeah.
You will notice that whenever you have that perspective, you'll have better control over it next time. So,
yeah.
But you're doing great. Obviously, you're silver, Miss Ute, and you're headed to gold. So that's awesome. All right, guys. Well, I am so thankful for every one of you jumping on, and I'm sorry for cutting out on you guys. Again, I think this is really a good topic to talk on because, again, success in plexus has nothing to do with the products. It has everything to do with your relationship with people. It is all relationship based, you guys. If you want to make it to, gold or emerald or diamond, whatever your goal is, this is relationship marketing. And that all goes back to emotional intelligence. And that is something everybody can learn. It can be a learned skill. It's not something you have or don't have. Everybody can learn that. Okay. So if you're sitting here thinking, I'm not really good with that, that's okay. I can tell you that practice helps a lot. So, and if you know the things to practice well, then you will do better. So anyways, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. Did anybody else have any more comments? I don't want to cut you off in case you did. Okay. All right. Well, Merry Christmas, you guys. Y'all have a great week.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, guys.
Bye.